Good morning, everybody. All right, let's get going. Welcome to February. As a reminder, this is our last Coffee with Carlsen for the year. So for all of our super loyal fans, I do appreciate everyone's commitment to being part of our story. I want to thank Ferranda's Bill and his staff for supporting us. He just reminded me from before, for you, those of you who have been with us through this whole thing, we had it in the back room at Lincoln Inn, you'll remember that? And we outgrew it, and we'll continue to outgrow it. I have an idea for at the end I'm going to pitch to you all to see if it goes well. But so anyway, again, really appreciate everyone's support of this. It was kind of a dream, and let's just create this, and it's been really great. Just a couple of housekeeping items. We have tomorrow night is our game against Miami. So the team's going to be wearing their pink jerseys, but it's not our pink game. Although Coach is wearing pink and I'm wearing pink and pink nail polish, and we got it rocking. But and also tomorrow is at girls. We're going to celebrate National Women and Girls in Sports Day, and also have that clinic for young buddies beforehand. So I've talked about that before, but that's happening before our game. Saturday is our Play for K game, so the team's going to be wearing pink again, and that will be where, if you want to wear pink, wear pink. We will have T-shirts, donations suggested for sale, so I know that's, some people are rotational about that. On your tables is a little bit of information about the Play for K free throw contest, so you can sign up there if you'd like to participate, donate to that cause. It would be for every free throw we make in February. And what number are we on right now? Did you figure that out? 46. That's the number I'm thinking. I made that up. We had 22 on Saturday, so I think that's a good number. We played 3 games. I bet I'm about right, just like I was right yesterday on the assist on that bucket by Myia. Who was that? Gabby. It was Gabby. That's right. I was right, by the way, just for the record. So the next Saturday is Cram the Combo. So we're going to do a replica jersey giveaway to the first 1250 fans. It's a double header, so obviously half of them for us. So make sure you're there early. I know there's a number of you that like to get those to give away, so be there early. It's also Senior Day, so we're going to honor 5 seniors. So that will be before the game. So I know, again, you all are diehards. You get there early, on time, and but make sure you are there for that. The kids are going to be wearing, the young women are going to be wearing green shoelaces for Mental Awareness Day as well that day. And there'll be some programming in the combo. More. Yeah. When we play Eastern Michigan on 2/26, we're working on an annuitant day for those folks that have friends that are retirees of NIU. We're going to do a special promo for them. Obviously, you all have tickets already, but if you have friends that you talk about, we're going to get that out in the next week or so. We're doing that. So continuing on with our 125th anniversary celebration, we're honoring the faculty and staff of past. I mean, we have an honoree in here, Sally Stevens. That was awesome. She loved that. She even took some pictures. She has pictures of her recognition, which was awesome. But we're going to continue that the rest of the season. So that's keep your eye out for that. Okay, believe it or not, I have more things. This is the last show, so you have to kind of bear with me. In case you didn't know, the radio show is back in, the basketball radio show. It's at the Forge, which is in Sycamore. Super cool place, pizza and beer. If you haven't been there, it's on the main strip of Sycamore downtown. So it's 7 o'clock on Thursdays. There's a save the date for our golf tournament. Again, talked about it before. It's June something. Write it down. June, what's it say on that thing? 16th, 19th? 19th, thank you. We also... remember a couple years ago we had our March Coffee with Carlsen, and we included that in the programming, but we didn't do it a couple years because of postseason. So we will continue not to have one in March, but we will have a banquet celebrating the end of the season, and that's going to be in April. We're looking at April 26th, although that's not confirmed yet. But as soon as we get that out there, we'll let everybody know. Just finally, women's basketball-wise, we get along. We have eight more games. Is that right, Coach? 8 more games. until we determine what's next for us in postseason. If you remember, if we're 5 through 8, we host a play-in game. Top 4, we get a bye, bottom 4, we're on the road. If we do host a play-in game, just recall, for both men and women, that's part of your season ticket if you're a season ticket holder. So I know in the past we've had to go through this rigmarole of picking up tickets and such, but it's in your season ticket package. So just pay attention to that. We'll send out more information should that happen for us. Just lastly, for me, before I bring up a couple of our speakers, the next couple of games, Coach Tandas is going to be in six-man grill for you all. I've got Coach Carlsen doing a little bit of heavy lifting and a couple other events that we're having pregame. So you're going to get to hear from Adam, I think his delivery will be something that you'll really enjoy. So six-man grill, Adam will be back in the back, being his awesome self. Well, since this was our last show, we wanted to mix it up a little bit. Not only do we have 2 student athletes who are going to speak today, we've got a softball student athlete I know Coach will introduce. We also asked Jay Anderson to come up and speak briefly about not only his commitment to our event. This event is supported by Northwestern Medicine, but also just generally how he's contributed to our department and our university in the past few years. He's the president of Kish Hospital. He's been here in the community about 5 years. We play some golf together. He can talk about that if he wants to. Unfortunately, we're on the losing streak of our golf situation, mostly on my fault. But we will take you next summer, and I'm looking forward to recreating that foursome. So without further ado, Mr. Jay Anderson.
So then I wear my red and black for our Huskies, and then we're wearing pink. It's very complicated, trying to figure it out. Just excited to be here. Deborah and I, we talked about it. I hadn't thought about talking about our golf together. It's not overly pretty. Pretty much Coach Carlsen beats us every single time. But there was a time, it was a par 3. Deborah gets a couple strokes per hole, and she did actually hit the green and made like a 40-foot putt, for a 2 net 0. And so our playing opponents were very upset then. But that was our one glory moment. It's all downhill after that. But Deborah kind of asked, why do we sponsor this event? And it's really simple. Connecting with the community is so dramatically important. You guys are passionate about what you do, passionate about this team, passionate about NIU. The ability to connect together, I think that's what makes our program strong. Hearing from each other, it draws us closer. It makes us more of a family, more of a unit. Similar in the healthcare system, we do patient-family advisory councils. If we don't hear from our patients, we're not able to make our clinical programs better. So this is right in the heart and the DNA of what we like to do too, and so thrilled to do this. At the same time, any opportunity you have to hear from Coach Carlsen is a good thing. Lisa is just an absolute gem, I think, to our community. We have leaned on her numerous times over the health system. She came and spoke to our entire leadership team and different derivations of our nursing team. And every time they walk away and they're all struck by, that's what leadership looks like. I'm more confident going out on my nursing unit and talking to my nurses because of what I heard from Coach Carlsen. My manager of my imaging, big, tall, 6'5" guy running imaging, walks out and says, I learned so much today from hearing from Coach Carlsen. So we're thrilled to have her in the community, and anything we can sponsor that gets her out and talking to everybody, we just think that's a good thing. And then lastly, the excitement of us all coming together. You know what? The combo's more fun when it's loud. And it gets loud when we all go, and we all go when we feel really connected. My one ask to the team, if there's any way the wins could come with maybe a little less drama, that would be awesome. Because I'm telling you, it's just super stressful to watch. Now, I will tell you, both Deborah and Coach Carlsen said, get over it. That's just how we win. And so I totally respect that, but really appreciate it. A couple other thoughts. Deborah asked, why are we excited about NIU as a health system? The reality is we're 2 major nonprofits here in the community, and we're deep partners. We're on campus every single day in the Student Health Center. We're seeing not just the athletes, but the students, and it's something we take a great source of pride in being able to serve that community. I hope someday you get to meet our physician, Amanda. She's absolutely amazing and loves these students every single day and keeping them healthy. And then we're also in the training room every week. Our goal to support our athletic trainers as they're out with every single one of the teams out there, keeping them healthy, able to play. we don't feel as a vendor or a supplier. We feel ourselves as an intimate part of the team. You guys come to the game and you're looking for your favorite player to see how they're warming up. I'm looking for the physician to see, okay, well, who's here? And I guarantee they are very fired up. We had a neat moment neat. In my world, this is kind of what neat moments look like. But at the men's game, there was a tough injury. Guy had a hard fall, hit himself pretty hard in the neck, and he was down. As the other team's trainer goes out there, signaled our trainer over. They're looking. Our trainer then asked our physician to come over. And our physician did a full workup analysis of the patient, and the trainer from the other team looked over and goes, "Oh, you're a doc." They just didn't expect to have a physician present like that and was able to do a much more comprehensive review. And it gave such comfort to that other trainer and to that other team. And what Sean and I have talked a lot about is that's what a Division I program should expect. For us to have an elite Division I program, we have to have an elite medical care, training care, all the way from the operating room to the training room, and that's our responsibility, and we love that responsibility. And our guys and gals celebrate with every win, and then are battling and say, how can we help our teams get better? Because we believe in being Huskies. If you go over to our physicians' offices, you would think you're in NIU land, because there is some purple around, that's true, but there's lots of red and black. And as Lisa Freeman always says, cats and dogs can be together. And that's what happens when we're together, and we think that's cool. And the last thing I'll say, got to ask, why did we support the Performance Center? And I have to say that goes totally to Dr. Bapka, our team physician, because Sean approached me, I don't know, it was a year and a half ago, 2 years ago, and said, hey, we should do this. And I looked at it and said, I just can't see ourselves sponsoring like a shake stand. I don't understand. And it just doesn't feel right. And then as I was talking to our team physician, I said, hey, what's the missing piece? What are some of the things we should be adding? He goes, man, we have got to focus on nutrition. We've got to focus on diet. We've got to make sure the team is not focused on just peanut butter and jelly sandwiches, but rather they're doing these incredible workouts. They've got to have the right nutrition so they can build the muscle, they can build the flexibility and everything that they need. And so Dr. Back 100% said, this is what we need. And so we're excited to be a part of it. We're excited to be a part of it with the fraternity because this is kind of what the family, the community does together. So we're thrilled, looking forward to the rest this morning. Thank you for coming out, and thanks for being a part of Husky Nation.
All right. Thank you. That was great. Okay. Yes, apparently Coach Carlsen gets to come up now. So she's going to talk about our last few games. Again, bring up our student athlete, and then we also have Coach Sutcliffe to, finish off the... I'm the new assistant coach for softball, so I have to get this lingo right. What is it?
She's the closer.
Closer. There we go. All right, Coach. Thanks.
Messed up my notes. I would also like to echo what Deborah said. Good morning to everybody. It's great to see a full room. It's hard to believe that this is our last Coffee with Carlsen, and that means that we are on the downslope of the season, not literally or not figuratively, just literally. We've played 10 league games so far, which again is hard to believe. If you've ever heard, and coaches say this all the time, but I hear Mark Montgomery say this all the time. Every MAC game is a challenge, and every MAC game generally comes down to 1 to 2 possessions. And when I went back and looked at our first 10 league games, 8 of them have been decided in single digits. We've been on the receiving and the giving end of some of those, but that is what this league presents for us. We've had some really big wins since the last time we met. I like to concentrate on those as opposed to the losses. But we really started things off when we went to Akron and played a team that had been playing really good basketball, like a lot of MAC teams going into league play. I thought Courtney was really good that night. She had 20. But the biggest part of that win that really kind of started the theme for us in a lot of ways is that we had 9 players play double-digit minutes, and 8 of them scored in that contest. And we also played that game without Allie. So when you think about that on our roster, I haven't traditionally necessarily played 8 to 10 or 11 players double-digit minutes. I don't know that that is the formula all the time, but for this team right now, that seems to be really, really important for us. And I think it's because these players have a very clear understanding of what my expectation is for them. Obviously for the team, but really for them. What's their skill set? What can they bring to the table when they are put in a position on the floor? And what do I need them to do? I don't need everybody to score 20 every night. I need Courtney to do that, okay? But I don't need everybody to do that. But if you ask Michaela Brandon what I need her to do, she understands that I need her to go in there, defend, play defense, and distribute the basketball. I don't need her to look to score every time she touches the ball. She will tell you that. All her teammates will tell you that. And she knows that from a coaching standpoint. So the Akron win was a big one for us. Anytime you can win on the road, it's a little bit special because that's hard to do. The next win we had was, and many of you were there, was our opportunity to play Buffalo. Now, we have had some very historic games against Buffalo, and we've had an opportunity to have them here at home. But I go back and I think about the games against Buffalo. Cassidy Glenn hits a buzzer beater that ends up on SportsCenter top 10 that night. We have a really interesting travel situation when we go to Buffalo a couple years ago when we had a few people with the mumps. Actually, Myia is here, so she didn't make that trip because she's home with the mumps. We have a flu outbreak and we go with 6 players. And we end up beating them on their home court with about half a roster, which was pretty exciting. And then also an overtime win a couple of years ago against Buffalo as well. So it would only lead you to believe that the game against Buffalo was going to be a good one, and it obviously did not disappoint. Like Jay mentioned, we don't necessarily want to be down double digits, but it happens, and it did happen. But the resiliency and the fight in this team gave us an opportunity. Obviously, on that last play, Gabby finding Allie hitting the shot on the baseline was really something special, and I think the kids were able to gain a ton of confidence from that ball game. And then today is Tuesday, Saturday, we get an opportunity to go to Bowling Green. Again, a great contest for us. Again, the theme, if you look at that, so Courtney has 32 points. She had a great game, sticking the ball in the basket, looks as big as the ocean. We're trying to get her the ball every opportunity we have. But obviously, everyone in the gym knows that is what we're trying to do. So we get, they go on a 10-0 run late in the fourth quarter. We get the ball back, and they have, it seems like 7 people on Courtney. And she does a great job of finding Riley open in the corner, and we needed a 3 to tie it. And I remember very distinctly seeing how open Riley was, seeing her catch the ball, and seeing how calm she was in that situation to have her feet set and let it fly. When it left her hands, I think everybody that was in red that day understood that it was going to go in the basket. And then that feeling of hitting a shot to put it into overtime, getting ready for 5 minutes of overtime, there's a lot of confidence on the bench. There was no doubt in my mind, and I don't think the other 14 players that were there, that we were going to be able to take care of things in overtime. But again, when I go back and look at that game, Riley hits a shot. She'd only had 5 points. 3 of them were that shot all night. We get a steal in a critical situation by Grace, who's put in to play defense, who gives the ball to Gabby, who gives the ball to Myia for a layup. Okay, I didn't mention Courtney. Okay, as much as we love what she does, everybody is getting an opportunity to do what they do. And that's been very consistent in the theme that we've had throughout these games. We also had an opportunity to play Central Michigan. We had an opportunity to play Ohio. Those 2 teams are on the top of the league. And again, those are single-digit, hard-fought 40-minute games. I thought we had Central in a position that, to be honest with you, we haven't had Central in a position like that in a long time on their home court. We hold them to 66 points. That's only happened one other time since they've played MAC teams. They're a very high-scoring offense. They got a lot of weapons on the floor, and I thought defensively we just did a great job to keep ourselves in position to have an opportunity. So when you look at the trajectory of what we've been able to do, especially since league play has started, I couldn't be more excited about the last 9 games. We are in a situation where, much like it is every year, everything is all jumbled up. Okay, Central has been able to be 11-0, and they're having a great year, and that's fine. But if you look at the rest of the league and the records that are as they are right now going into the second half, it's anybody's game. So when Deborah mentioned, our first goal will be to get to that 8th spot so we can host a first round tournament game. And I've said all along, the beautiful thing about this league is everybody gets an opportunity to go to the conference tournament, which means there's 12 teams that are going to have the exact same goal, regardless of what their record says, and getting an opportunity to go to Cleveland and cut down the nets. And that hasn't changed. Our expectation hasn't changed because everybody's going to get that chance. I also like to look at it as we're 1-0 in the second half. And I think our team believes that. I think that we talk about that. We also have the opportunity to play 4 of the next 5 at home. We've been on the road a fair bit, so having an opportunity to step on our home floor, again, against really good teams, which is fine. Who we are getting ready to play becomes less and less important. Not from a preparation standpoint, but really from how are we going to prepare to be our best version of ourselves. Whether we're playing Central, or if you look at the Bowling Green record, they were 1-9 or 1-8. It didn't matter. Every game in the league is going to be a dogfight. So who we play is not as important as how we play. Now, with that being said, I'm not going to lie. We owe Miami one. Okay? So we do remember that, and we do understand that essentially we felt like we had that game won and let that one slip away. Deborah also mentioned most of February I like to wear pink. I've accumulated a fair amount of pink over the years in support of and recognition for breast cancer and all really women's cancer. So when we celebrate that on Saturday, that will be really special. The players have new pink uniforms, which I think are really cool. And so to see the combo decorated with a lot of pink, and that's really a national recognition throughout the country on Play for K. So if you get an opportunity to watch any women's basketball games on TV this time of the year in February, everybody's wearing pink. So it's really something that I think brings the whole women's basketball community together in support of something pretty special. Something else that's been pretty special in the last couple games is Courtney was able to get to the 2,000 point mark, which is a ton of points. A little bit of a unique situation right now, obviously, because on the men's side with Eugene German doing the same thing, to have 2,000 point scorers basically as Huskies at the same time. The only institution in the nation that can boast that. So if you're coming to watch, you're going to see great basketball, but you're also going to see 2 very distinct individuals that are able to accomplish something that very few people get the opportunity to do. So we will recognize Courtney for that prior to the game tomorrow night. She is, I believe, 54 points away from taking over second place in the all-time scorers list by someone named Carol Owens. You may have heard of her. A little bit, for those of you who love statistics, I was looking at our league stats the other day. Courtney is top 5 in scoring, top 5 in three-pointers made and 3-point percentage, and she leads the league in free throw percentage. Gabby is actually second in 3-point percentage right now. If you can kind of put your finger a little bit on some of our recent success, I think you can look at what Gabby's been able to do for us and stepping in and really in all facets. Obviously, her ability to score the basketball, but she was the assist in the Buffalo game. She was the assist in a critical situation in the BG game. So her play has been definitely a spark for us. As a team, we lead the league in rebounding margin. And a lot of times, I fight this with you guys. Ever since I've been here, everybody wants a 6'4" kid on the floor. And we got to be bigger, and we got to be bigger, we got to be bigger. But we're still the best rebounding team in the league when we're not bigger. So if you put an emphasis where it needs to be, you can still accomplish things and be fast at the same time. We're number 2 in 3-point field goal percentage, number 2 in defensive rebounding, and number 3 in 3-pointers made. So again, if you kind of hang your hat on the things that we feel are important, those are very critical statistics for us from a success standpoint. A couple of other fun things. On Sunday, we are actually going to take the team, and I know a lot of you will know her, and go eat at Your Sister's Tomato Pizza Place. So if you followed any of Lisa Foss's journey, she's been a pretty amazing entrepreneur in some of the things that she's done. And right now, they just opened, it went from a pizza truck to an actual establishment, and it's called Your Sister's Tomato, and we're going to take the team there and eat. But Lisa's been able to really grow her business. Obviously somebody who is near and dear to Huskies' hearts as far as what she was able to do in a uniform. So that'll be something pretty fun for the kids. And then I always end with my injury report, which right now, knock on wood, is pretty good. If we could get rid of the flu a little bit, we'd be a lot better. But I anticipate that we will have all 14 in uniform tomorrow night, ready to go to battle against the Red Hawks. So that's what I have for you from a basketball standpoint. Before I introduce Myia, I would be happy to take any questions that you might have.
Recruiting. Can you tell us any?
Well, we signed 2 kids early, 2 guards. Jaden Maribel out of Bolingbrook and a guard out of Cedar Rapids, Sydney McCrae. So I talked about them. We will look to probably fill 2 or 3 more spots this spring. We need some post players. So we've spent a lot of time looking at some junior college kids, and then we'll see what happens as far as transfers that may be out there. But right now, I don't necessarily anticipate another freshman. I would look for a more experienced junior college player in the post position.
Well, number 25 has been playing well in the paint there for you. You haven't mentioned
Yeah,
her.
who's that? Asia, yeah. I'm like, what number? And I talked a little bit about Asia before. I do believe that Asia is going to be a huge part of what we do in the next 3 years. She's a true post player. She has great feel around the basket. She's got tremendous hands. And the better in shape she gets collegiately, this year is going to be great for her from an understanding of what this league is all about and what 12 months being a college basketball player is all about. But yes, it's ceiling for Asia, in my opinion.
Going off of that, speaking of help in the post, it's nice to see Nini get more minutes and really contribute.
Yeah, sometimes when you're scratching your head a little bit on what are some things that we can mix up from a coaching standpoint to kind of jumpstart it. Nini's one of those players that comes to practice every day, works her tail off, understands the scout, whether I'm asking her to be on the scout team or asking her to defend somebody, it doesn't matter. Her demeanor doesn't change. She is more than willing to do whatever it takes to help this team win. And so that's a credit to her putting herself in position when called upon to change roles and start. One, she's taken full advantage of it. She has absolutely the respect of her team because of all those things I've mentioned. And it hasn't changed how she's gone about her business. So you're right, Brad, it's been a great spark for us, and I'm happy for her. That leads me a little bit to, so Deborah mentioned we're going to do senior day a little bit different. It's not going to be the last home game. We're going to do it on a Saturday. And one of the reasons we're going to do that is so that our international kids' parents can be here. And so Nini's parents will be here. Courtney's parents will be here for senior day, which will be really something special for them as well.
The Hodges girl is listed as a junior in the program. Does that mean she's only got 1 more year of eligibility?
No, she'll get that year back. I mean, she was supposed to be a junior this year, and it will stay that way, but she will get this medical redshirt year back and then be a junior next year. So she'll have 2 years left.
Good.
Yeah, me. Happy. Good. Love that.
That's the fastest girl.
Anybody else? All right, awesome. I get the distinct pleasure of introducing Myia, our senior point guard from Plainfield, Illinois. 3-year starter who, again, has been through a ton in her career, but has been super diligent from a rehab standpoint, from a taking care of her body standpoint, and really understanding being that captain and leader on the court at the point guard position. A force for us, I think especially, and people don't notice it maybe as much. You'll get an opportunity to notice it tomorrow when she gets an opportunity to guard Lauren Dickerson, who is a 2,000-point scorer, 18 points a game, and Maya's going to lock her up. So for us defensively, she's been awesome. And she's going to tell you a little bit about what it's like for her as a senior this year. So Myia, come on up.
Man, a little short. The last time I was here, I was a sophomore, and just came off an injury, so look at me now. I'm all grown up. But no, honestly, it's been an interesting journey for me. Freshman year was more of a learning curve for me, and I was able to sit back and learn from the greats, Allie Lehman, Cassidy Glenn, and Amber, and I really enjoyed that team. I love them on and off the court. And then you get to sophomore year, I was waiting for my chance to like step up and actually play. In the summer before sophomore year, I would say that I like worked my tail off to get in the position that I was in. And, unfortunately, I got hurt, and that kind of sucked because I was just getting my groove. But junior year, I really didn't expect anything out of myself, and I would say that I had a fairly good season. At the end, I wish I would have played better, and I was like, you know what, I still got one more year to come back. And now I'm here, last year. But I just say, like, my journey has been, like, very interesting. I would say that I think I put a lot of pressure on myself the senior year because, it's my senior year. I did pretty decent my junior year, and I would say my role as far as with what I do on the court hasn't necessarily changed, but it's just been like different for me. I expected so much out of myself, and I don't know if I necessarily played up to the part that I thought I was gonna do. But the good thing about me is that I feel like I'm selfless, and that I don't care what I have to do in order for this team to win. Like, it doesn't matter what I do, if that's putting the ball in the basket, getting the ball to certain shooters so they can put the ball in the basket, or even, like Coach said, playing defense. I don't mind what I do, because at the end of the day, like, I really do care about this program. I do care about these people, and it doesn't really matter. It doesn't really matter. I think these last couple of games have showed the depth on our team, and I think it's crazy that our freshmen have been given an opportunity to play so much. And I wish I would have had that, but it's just crazy because sometimes I even forget that they are freshmen, and then they do something, you're like, oh yeah, freshman mistake. But no, I think this program has a lot going for them next year, just them being able to produce as much as they have been able to. And I know that I'm glad that we still have a couple more games. I'm glad that I've been able to catch fire, because I'm not stopping here, and I know that we're not stopping either. And the good thing about this league is that everyone has the opportunity to go to the postseason and get to Cleveland. So we're starting now, and these next two games are going to be very important for us, and I know that we can pull it out. We don't really care about our record, and I know that as we continue to keep working, that we're going to do something special, and I believe it, and I know that the rest of the team believes it too. So I'm just really excited, and I'm happy to be here. I'm old, but after this, I plan to continue to play. I know that I'm trying to play until body can't play anymore, but I'm really excited about it, and I'm excited about these last couple of games. Let's get to the tournament. Go Huskies.
Now we're going to shift gears a little bit to, as you can see, it's beautiful weather outside, and outdoor sports are loving that. Coach Sutcliffe is in her 8th season, I believe. Is that right? 8th season. Last year she was able to hit the 200th win plateau, which is pretty amazing. She's had 230-plus win seasons at the helm of the Huskies. They just kicked off this last weekend, as far as their season is concerned, in Florida, and I think they're taking off to somewhere much warmer again coming up this weekend. So she's going to tell us all we need to know about Husky softball. Coach Sutcliffe.
Good morning. Thanks for having me. You know, I'm usually try to get to these when possible. I've actually had to miss a couple this year. So I'm glad that normally I speak a little before we start playing, and that's always a little like, I don't know what we're going to look like, where this year I got to go after we've actually started playing, so that's fun. First and foremost, I wanted to thank Jay, Northwestern Medicine. He kind of underplayed what he has done for our program in particular. We're one of the sports that absolutely use that nutrition center on a daily basis. From what they're able to provide, we practice in the middle of the day, so it's really tough when our players are coming from class in their labs and then getting in and trying to put 4 hours of effort into it. So being able to stop in there and grab some healthy options for them to fuel their body not only prevents the injury, but allows us to practice at a higher level than we'd be able to do without him. So I know he underplayed that role a little bit, and it's a game changer for us for sure. Then I have my staff in the room. So Ashley Wade is our associate head coach. She's been with me now for 5 years. She deserves that. And then our athletic trainer came as well, Emily Belcheris. She's been with me for all 8. And then our second assistant is Deborah now. And that's not a joke. That really is official. We put her into that second assistant role for a couple of reasons. One, it's probably going to happen that I get kicked out of a game, so if she happens to be there, she'll be able to step in. 2, there's some legality part of if she comes and she's in the stands, she can actually recruit the opponent while we're warming up. So we're trying to be up and up on the NCAA rules with all that. So we don't have a second assistant. Our prior associate head actually got the head coaching job at Loyola very late in the year. So that was a phenomenal opportunity for her. She's from the Chicagoland area, so it's kind of a dream job. So that kind of left us needing somebody late in the year. We opened it up. I'm a big culture person, and we just couldn't find somebody that I felt was going to fit into our culture and do the due diligence that our young athletes need. So we decided to go without, and that is where Ashley has definitely stepped up. And if you come by the combo for the basketball game, she's still working. You leave for the basketball game, she's still working. So we kind of make a joke that the softball staff is usually the first car in the lot and the last car in the lot to leave, just because of our situation we're in. But that's where we're at. So it's kind of been a challenge, but we're working through it. So we don't get in front of you a lot, so I kind of want to talk about last season, because we had a lot of great things that happened. We finished the regular season at 4th, made a little run in the MAC tournament, kind of underperformed a little bit. Some unfortunate breaks came our way, but within that, within the season, so we broke we made a transition. If you've kind of followed us, we used to be a pretty big power team. We had Emily Nagel, Katie Grable, which were huge power threats for us. So when they graduated, we really transitioned into a speed team. So prior to last year, our stolen base record was 69 for the entire program for a season. And we really thought that we had a chance to chase that record. And we actually ended the year with 103. So not only did we chase it, but we crushed it. So that's definitely a goal of ours. That's who we've kind of transitioned into for now. We know that. We accept that, and we have figured out how to run around some teams within that. So we broke the single game record plus the single season record with there. We also were able to throw the first perfect game in program since 1995. So those of you that don't know, a perfect game means nobody got on base. So there was no hits, no errors, no walks, nothing. Nobody got on base. We were actually able to do that out in Washington against Idaho State. So that was a pretty big feat for Alex Friends, a senior that graduated. We also had 10 MAC honor roll students. We had 14 NFCA, which is our association All-American athletes. We named 3 to the first team All-MAC. We named another 2 to the second team and another 2 to the All-Freshman team. So within that, we only have 5 returning upperclassmen, which means we have 16 freshmen and sophomores. So with that sometimes goes the learning process of what that's going to look like as we go. And of the 5 upperclassmen, one's currently injured, who happens to be our number 1 returning pitcher. So that has left us with a little bit of deficit in the circle. We currently have 1 true pitcher and 2 players that were recruited to play infield that are now pitching as well. They did a little pitching in high school, so now they get to pitch at the Division I level. So that's kind of where we're at right now. Jenny Van Gertrude last year also got COSIDA All-Region First Team. She also got COSIDA Third Team Academic All-American. So that's the second in the program history since I've been here that we were able to put up on the wall and get an Academic All-American. Again, if you don't really know what that means, it essentially means she was the third smartest, most athletic outfielder in the entire country. So to have that within our program, she was pretty special and definitely left her mark on our program. So moving into this year, again, obviously we can't be playing here. Part of the struggle of being a Northern school, we spin this and say you get to go to some really cool places during your career here on the recruiting trail, but our first 30 games are on the road this year. We play 51 total, so it will be 30 games in before we actually get to step foot on our own home surface. Hopefully we'll get to practice a couple times before that on it. So that's always a challenge. Then out of our 51 games, 40 are actually on the road. So actually when we play at home, it's very weird and we get out of our normal routine. So it almost feels more like home when we're on the road because that's the routine we stick in all the time. But we're definitely excited about it. We did go down to Boca this past weekend. That's always a really fun trip for our team. They really like to get down to South Florida. FAU has a nice little setup for them, but we have some South Florida players on our team as well that always invite us into their house and bring our team home for a cooked meal and do all that. So that's a really good experience for them. Unfortunately, we went 1-4. We won the season opener against Bethune-Cookman, and then we lost to Purdue and Wisconsin. Try to come back against Florida Atlantic. I think if we would have gone one more inning, we probably had that game. And then the last day, our youth showed against Indiana State, and we had some blunders on the bases. But out of those losses, we out-hit our opponent 2 out of the 4 games. So we're right there. We just we haven't figured out how to put that together or put them in some key situations. And again, the first 20 for this group in particular are about growing and about trying to just figure out how to play at this level so that once we get down to the MAC play that we're there and we're no longer a young team, that we're very experienced. Because obviously the benefit of having a very young team is they're getting a lot of playing time that they may not have gotten had it be flipped. So they're learning on the fly, which sometimes is better than learning on the bench, and they're learning through their own mistakes rather than through the eyes of somebody else. So and we travel with 18. Every single one played this weekend. All but one got an at-bat this weekend, and not because they were charity at-bats, legit because I needed them in that situation to contribute to our team and to make things happen. So our depth is extremely long. I think we probably have 3 or 4 defensive lineups within a single game. It's just what they're used to. It's how we move things in and out, and we're really able to strategize against the opponent and kind of move people around where we need them to. So that's kind of a different look for most softball teams than normal. It's fun because we get to test the umpires on whether they know the rules or not. So we keep them sharp as well. So we do go to Coastal Carolina this weekend. It's 70 there right now. It's going to be 40 when we get there this weekend. So I'm a little bitter about that, but it'll be like we're at home, so we'll get used to playing in the cold. We'll get the parkas out and do that, so that'll be a little more familiar to us. I like to say, Friday we played in the rain. I was like, oh, we got this. Like, FAU had no idea how to take their tarp off. Our team was like, Coach, you need to go. I'm like, it's their field. We're not going to tell them. So we've got the cold early. We got the rain down pat, where some of the southern schools kind of freak out when that happens just because they're not used to playing in it. So there we're going to play College of Charleston, Coastal Carolina, Jacksonville State, and Delaware State. So it'll be a nice little matchup for us. And then we're going to kind of take a weekend off, regroup. Hopefully we will probably get a pitcher back, one of the ones that's injured during that break, so that'll be nice to get one of our pitchers back and in the circle, and then we head down to Memphis after that. So the other nice thing about this team is as nice as we're going to be on the field, or as competitive as we're going to be, this was our best academic semester that we had since I've been here in the program for the 8 years. So we actually finished the semester with a 3.557. Which last fall we finished with a 3.3, so that's a huge jump with them. We actually finished second in the department, so I'm really proud of this group. and what they're doing in the classroom. So that kind of leads me to Katie Keller. So I've left her out of all the accolades purposely. She's on your front, but if it's not facing you. So this student athlete was a freshman last year, and she tied our school record for runs scored in a game. She tied our school records in doubles in a game. She broke our school record in doubles for an entire season, which actually made her the statistical leader for the NCAA, the first ever in NIU MAC history for the entire country. So she had the most doubles per game out of the entire country. She also was named All-Region. And then lastly, our association comes up with a top 25 freshman of the year, and she ended up making that first draft. And then they cut it down to 10, which was the first in the MAC history that we had a freshman in the top 25. Then they cut it down to 10, and they do a watch list of the top 10, and then they do obviously a freshman of the year. So I have some friends that are on that committee, and she actually tied for 10th to be top 10 freshman of the year, and then on the tiebreaker she got 11th, so she wasn't kind of named, which I actually in a weird way was kind of happy, because then she could still kind of ride under the down low a little bit as we went into the thing. But for a freshman to have that type of season, it's really a storybook thing. It puts the team starts looking at you prior to probably when they should. But she's the type of player that didn't really matter, and she never really tried to do it either. Keller's one of the most humble players that we have, and she just goes about her business, and she's kind of like Myia. Any way she can help us, she gets it done. And you wouldn't really know that she was doing that, because she just would quietly go about her business. She would just, I'll take a single here, I'll bloop a ball to left field, and you're kind of half going at it, and I'm going to stretch it into a double, because I'm always playing at my maximum level. And that's the type of player she is. But she's doing it while majoring in pre-med. So she has a 4.0. She's studying to be a doctor as well. So as amazing as she is on the field, she's an even more impressive player off the field and as a person, and is way farther in life than I ever was at that age. And I'm excited to see what she's going to do in the rest of her years and to follow it up. So I'm going to have her come up and talk to you real quick.
Good morning. I'm battling a little bit of a cold right now, so I might sound like a 12-year-old boy. That's all right. Like Coach said, my name is Katie Keller. I'm a sophomore here, so I'm going into my second year. We just started last week, like they said. I am a pre-med major, studying to be a doctor, maybe looking towards surgical PA or something like that. Really into that. I kind of want to talk about why I chose NIU, why I came here, and just my experience so far, and then our goals going into season for this year. As a high schooler, I was a super homebody, really loved just my family, being around my family, going to dinners, whatever. So this was a huge thing. I grew up 30 minutes from here. I grew up in Geneva, so it was kind of a huge thing for me. NIU, I was drawn here because it was so close to home. I'm able to go home any day that I really want to, that I'm free to, just for dinner, to see my parents, see my family, my siblings. So that was a huge thing for me for why I wanted to come here. Another thing is I really enjoy the facilities here. The Chesick is a huge privilege for our team to be able to practice every day in there. That's huge. That was pretty much a big factor in why I came here. Just being able to play D1 is huge, and then to be able to play in a Chesick practice center like that, I don't think I've ever seen something as nice as that. Our dorms too, our facilities are just top of the line here. I think that was a huge thing that played into it. Also, my amazing coaches, just being able to work with people that I trust and work with people that I know have my back 100% of the time. I was able to see that the second I stepped onto campus for my first visit here. My first visit, I came here when I was a sophomore in high school. That was the first time I'd ever really come down here. Even though it was so close to home, I never really came to DeKalb much. But honestly, the second I stepped out here, I felt so welcomed by the coaches and by everybody that I met on my unofficial visit here in my sophomore year. So NIU was always on top of my list 100% of the time during my recruiting process. And it was a no-brainer for me. Being able to be close to home, being able to work with people that I love, and having people that I can trust day to day was a huge thing. So my experience so far, so I actually was super nervous coming to college. I cried for days, did not want to come at all, was so nervous, did not know what to expect. Being a huge homebody, I thought it was the end of the world. I was very nervous and scared for it, but I could not be more thankful for the way that I was welcomed the second that I stepped out of the car on campus here. The coaches come up to you with carts ready to pull you into the dorms. Here we go, like we're all ready to go. And that was huge. And feeling like I had people around me who felt like home from the second I stepped on to campus here was so huge for me. Being able to feel like I'm in a home aspect is just exactly what I want out of a school. And that really carried on into my first season here. I was, a little bit nervous going into it, didn't know what to expect. I had the help of a lot of upperclassmen who showed me the way. And being able to go into my first tournament to start was pretty cool. And I felt like, I had a lot of expectations on me and whatnot, but I was ready to go. But I actually went 0 for 13 in my first at-bats here at NIU. Didn't get a hit for 6 games. And at that point, you're down in the dumps. You're not sure, is this right for me? Am I supposed to be here? Am I supposed to be playing at the college level? There were things that were going through my mind constantly. At that point, I was kind of down, didn't know, had never been through this before. In high school, I had never had to really go through such a slump like that. But I think it was my teammates, it was my coaches, and it was just me trusting myself and my hard work and everything that I've put into my training up until that point that got me through that. In my 7th game, I was finally taken out of the lineup, and I was like, all right, well, I'm out of the lineup. There's nothing I can do at this point, so I'm just going to, go up there and swing as hard as I can on my shoes at this pitch if I get another chance. And that's exactly what I did. I was able to pinch hit my 7th game, and then finally got a hit first pitch. And after that, it was all uphill from there. And as a team, we were able to really get things done. We went through this season. It was a pretty good season, but I think we were all super excited to get into MAC tournament. And we finished a little bit short, but I think our team collectively made a lot of huge strides last season. And at the end, not to be able to get it done was a little bit disappointing, but it was just, I think, a huge thing for this season is knowing that, I've learned from last season, and I know exactly how it feels to be down in the dumps and then to get out of that. And then, so I'm just really excited to go into this season right now and be able to kind of have a voice now as a leader a little bit. I have a little bit of experience now after 1 year, but and after losing a lot of seniors, we don't have as many upperclassmen, but to feel like as a sophomore I can have a voice on this team and to be a true leader is a huge thing for me. So definitely going into this season, I'm super excited. We get to have a lot of awesome tournaments that we get to play, and then I think our biggest goal this season is to win a MAC championship, and I think we absolutely have all of the tools to do it. And especially growing in our freshman and our sophomore classes right now, it's going to be a huge thing for us, and just making sure that our team is bonded together. And there's no better time than when we're on the road. We're all together, and it's a huge thing. And I think that I'm super excited to just be able to be with my teammates and to be able to keep working with the coaches that I love and trust. And I think this season's going to be a huge season, and I'm super excited. So that's one MAC championship. Go Dogs. Thank you.
All right, we're gonna raffle. We're doing good. Let's go. All right, you all just go out. All right, 955-931. 931. Yes. Price right back. Doing fine. Okay. 955-960.
We won already, drawn again.
Oh, all right. Okie dokie. 955, 934. 934? 934. That was probably Jay Anderson. All right, he left. You got to be present to win here, folks. 955, 947. You got a lot of gear, girl. And you got some more. Get something warm for the outside.
Joni, are you checking yours?
Yeah, no, Joni always wins. She 444. 955, 957.
There I am.
Whoa! Boom! That's awesome. All right. She does win every time. All right. 955, 932. 932. Oh, Bill McMahon. That is fitting, isn't it? All right. Our 5 winners. Good job. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. All right.
Lead Huskies.
Go lead Huskies. Yeah, so that's kind of fun. Yay, everybody. Yay. So these two, we have this program called Lead Huskies that are part of really great kids, and they're both part of that. So that's fantastic. Thank you. Real quick before we go, obviously we have game tomorrow, and then Saturday. I've done a little bit of under the radar polling, but raise your hand if you all will be good with moving this to a lunch. I mean, folks can still make it generally, lunchish, right? So some, yeah, Brad can. That's right. Okay, all right. Maybe not at lunch. I don't think I'm allowed to do that at lunch, but maybe someday. So we're just thinking about what does this look like going forward, and super, again, thankful that everyone has invested in this over the years. But, how do we grow it? What does this look like? I mean, wouldn't it be great if we moved this thing to the middle and we had all the tables full? And does lunch give us that opportunity? But I wanted to run it by this group because, again, you guys have been the most loyal for us. And I don't want to do something that upsets the apple cart. But so we're going to take a look at that, see if that makes sense. And of course, we will let you know. So we'll see you all tomorrow night, and go Huskies.